Why does time feel like it's speeding up? When you were a child, summers felt like they lasted forever. A single day could stretch into eternity. A year, practically a lifetime. But now, weeks disappear. Months blur together. Years flash by. What changed? Is time actually moving faster? Or is it something in you that's changed? This is the story of time, not the kind on a clock or calendar, but the kind you feel slipping through your fingers. Today on ThinkDust, we explore why time seems to speed up as we age, and whether there's anything we can do to slow it down. Let's begin. Time, according to physics, is a dimension, just like length or width. In Einstein's theory of relativity, time and space are interconnected, forming what we call space-time. It's not something that simply flows. It's something we move through. But our brains don't experience time like a physicist. We don't feel time, we interpret it. And that interpretation is different for every person. Especially as we age. The brain doesn't have a built-in stopwatch. Instead, it constructs a sense of time based on how much is happening around us, and within us. For children, the world is new and overwhelming. Every moment is full of discovery. New sounds, new colors, new sensations, new experiences. This constant novelty floods the brain with input and creates dense networks of memories. And the more memories you create, the longer time feels. Think back to when you first learned to ride a bike, or the first time you got lost in a city. Those moments probably felt long and vivid, even if they only lasted a few minutes. Now compare that to the last 2 weeks of your adult life. Can you recall what happened each day? For adults, many days are nearly identical. We follow routines. Our environments are familiar. Our reactions are predictable. The brain, seeking efficiency, stops recording every detail. The result? Time compresses. You look back at the past month and it feels like it disappeared. Not because it was short, but because your brain didn't find enough moments worth remembering. This is known as the first-time effect. First-time experiences are recorded more vividly and take up more psychological space. The more firsts we have, the more packed and rich our internal timeline becomes. Have you ever noticed how vacations seem to go by quickly while you're living them, but when you look back, they feel full and rich? That's the paradox. During the experience, you're fully engaged and time flies. But your brain records more details, more color, more sound, more movement. And when you replay the memory, it's expansive. Compare that to a month of ordinary workdays. You lived through 30 days, but your brain condensed them into one indistinct block. So maybe time isn't just what's happening. Maybe it's what we choose to remember. As we grow older and repeat the same activities, first-time moments become rare. And with fewer mental bookmarks, time slips through our fingers. There's also a psychological phenomenon known as chronostasis, the illusion that the first moment after a rapid eye movement feels longer than it actually is. It's another example of how attention stretches perception. Then there's proportionality. For a 5-year-old, 1 year is 20% of their life. For a 50-year-old, it's just 2%. This shrinking ratio makes each year feel shorter, even if it's objectively the same. Now layer on biology. As we age, neuron speed slows. Dopamine production decreases. Memory formation becomes less efficient. These changes blunt the intensity of our experience and further flatten the sensation of time. But here's something strange. When we experience moments of high stress, intense emotion, or danger, time feels like it slows down. In those moments, the brain activates survival mode. It captures details rapidly. Every sound, every movement, every sensation is stored. So the same 10 seconds can feel like a minute. This shows us that time isn't fixed. It's elastic, and your brain stretches or shrinks it depending on how much it's paying attention. That leads us to a crucial question: can we slow down subjective time? The answer appears to be yes. New experiences force the brain to pay attention. Mindfulness and meditation help us tune into the present. Breaking routine creates more memorable moments. And slowing down our pace allows us to actually notice life as it's happening. These aren't trendy life hacks. They're neurological truths. When we feed the brain novelty, emotion, and focus, we build more memories. And more memories equal a longer feeling life. Mindfulness isn't just meditation. It's the simple act of noticing, really noticing, what's in front of you. The feel of water on your hands. The smell of breakfast. The sound of wind in the trees. Children do this naturally. Adults have to relearn it. But the reward is immense. When you become present, you reclaim time that would otherwise slip past unnoticed. Try this. Tomorrow, take a walk with no phone, no music, no destination. Just walk. Observe how your perception of time shifts. Scientific experiments support this. In one study, people were asked to stare at a clock's second hand. The first tick always felt longer than the others. Why? Because heightened attention stretched the first moment in their perception. Another study divided people into two groups. One spent the day in routine, the other in a new environment. Those in the novel environment felt like the day lasted longer, even though it was the same length. In a 2004 study at the University of Leeds, researchers found that people who traveled more often, explored new cultures, and tried new things consistently reported that the last 5 years of their lives felt longer, and not in a bad way. They were simply able to recall far more. So here's a personal question. When was the last time you did something truly unfamiliar? When was the last time you got lost, on purpose? Time, it turns out, is shaped more by memory than by clocks. Ask yourself, how many days of your life do you actually remember? Not in general, but in detail. Most people can describe just a few dozen, maybe 100. Out of thousands. That's not because the rest were unimportant. It's because we were half awake. Rushing. Repeating. Forgetting. But that can change. Every single day has the potential to be remembered, if we meet it with awareness. And that brings us to a final question, perhaps the biggest of all. Does time even exist? Some scientists believe time is not a physical thing, but a mental framework, a way for humans to understand change. In Buddhism, the only true moment is the now. The past is just memory. The future is just imagination. In relativity, the concept of now is flexible. Two people in different locations might not even agree on what moment they're living in. So perhaps time isn't a river we're moving through. Maybe it's a story our minds are writing, second by second. So why does time feel faster as we age? Because we stop paying attention. We stop seeking new experiences. We stop living mindfully. But we can change that. We can live deliberately. We can make space for wonder. We can stretch time by filling it with presence. Because life isn't measured in minutes. It's measured in how many of those minutes you actually lived. And maybe that's what it means to be human, not just to survive time, but to feel it. If this episode made you think differently about time, subscribe to ThinkDust and share your thoughts in the comments. What was the longest moment of your life? And the shortest? Because even the smallest moment can leave the deepest mark. This is ThinkDust. See you in time yet to come.